meiotic, I think it's meiotic, yeah, for our mind to give birth, to our mind to expand, there is a need of the interaction. We can also see it in neurobiology, how the brain is forming is through interaction. Through interaction with the environment, the brain is forming, the brain is developing. And the problem with these reels and so on, and this trend of social media and therapy through social media, is that there's actually nobody in your room. You can feel like emotional connection. Just right now when I'm talking to you, maybe you can feel that I'm discussing with you is actually a sociological problem. In a world that isolate people, where people don't even have time to connect with each other, to have discussions, because discussions can take a long time, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. Maybe you guys are gonna eat together, or you guys are gonna need some pause. So just in itself, connection requires availability that in this society is becoming commodified. Well, when I talk about commodified, is that we are now at a point that being listened to becomes a commodity, a price, something we would need to pay for. When I'm talking about the regular tendency of society, that is not necessarily what's happening everywhere. There is community who walk differently, but that's another topic. I'm just talking right now about the reels, these reels because in Instagram and in Twitter and social media in general, because I believe these reels are really dangerous. Why are they really dangerous? They're gonna tell you, oh, this is a person who is toxic. Oh, if you see these signs, it means that. Or, be careful, you're reacting this way because this and this happened in your past, and right now this and this person is showing you in this and that, so you better act like this. All of this are backed up with scientific terms like that we use in therapy, or in that has been developed in the research in universities by clinical psychologist department, mainly behavioral departments, and all of these words which are supposed they are part of long research. They are now used in rails, in random rails that people can access to, and to make sense of what they are living with other people. And why is that so dangerous? Is that we the purpose, as I said, in many spiritual tradition as well, work on the mind, like the philosophy or psychology, all of these expertise about this approaches of the mind are always making it clear the importance of the mirror. Not whatever, just a mirror, but a mirror who can actually bring inside us this meiotic. What is the meiotic? The meiotic, as Socrates said, is making somebody else's mind giving birth. In other words, let's look at this definition, right? It's like meiotic. What it means. Meiotic is like when these reals are giving us rapid conclusions, categorizing, fixing situation into fixed boxes. This person's like that. You're reacting because of this. If you do that, this is gonna happen. And so on. So, when these are especially brought by people who are not even qualified in the actual discipline, it goes against the heart of what healing one's mind requires, which is this. One of the things is this thing, the meiotic. This meiotic is central in many traditions, and even in the things that we are using, that all of these words that we are like using in these rails, all of these therapy talk that they use. Sometimes we can talk about your style attachment, or like we can also diagnose other people. This person has this. So all of this is actually making people think that they can see what's going on with other people before even doing the meiotic on themselves. The meiotic is actually essentially being able to sit with doubt, sit with contradiction, sit with, it requires time. Yeah, it requires time. And why is this real so popular? This, and from a sociological point of view, we can see that the fact that time becomes a really rare resource. Time becomes a very rare resource that we can see if we check the book of Illouz, and the fact that emotions and becomes commodified. Emotions become commodified, and time in itself, and also social contact, being able to relate to other people, being able to be with other people, spend time with people, having discussion with people becomes less and less rare. So what people end up to do is looking at reels, looking at YouTube videos, looking at things online to actually deal with the lack of access toward other people that can actually listen to them, that can actually provide a space that is needed to heal the mind. People who know a bit more, I wouldn't say call expert, because expert is always, in my opinion, is dangerous word to use, but let's say more my definition of expertise is somebody who has spent a lot of time in a subject, not just by themselves, but who received the recognition from peers, from how long they spend time in the discipline. I'm not saying that we can't study things by ourselves and get great at it, but I'm just saying there is no knowledge without learning from others. So it doesn't matter if we learn it at school, universities, or just with videos or books. So there's always the involvement of other people. Even if we say we are a self-learner, we're doing by ourselves, it's wrong. It's wrong, because the resources we are accessing are coming from other people. So in essence, healing the mind doesn't happen in isolation. And the problem is that even if people who are expert in the field create a reel that is more or less well done for other people to access, it's still really limited. They often write in videos, like, I mean, a professional one, they will like probably write that this video doesn't replace a professional intervention, a professional follow up with what we are going through. What we have to know is that people who do videos on Instagram about talking to you about your traumas and everything, what we have to know is that the purpose of these things are influencers. They are influencers. They are not somebody we are talking with. They are not, the content that we are watching can't be satisfying enough for you, because it's made for thousands of people. And do you think that in all of these thousands of people could all be in different mindset and different, but the only thing that maybe reunite all of the people who watch the video is probably not even that what is being said in the video is on some sense truth, the truth of what is happening in your life. This video has all of its views because it resonates with where all of these people feel at this very moment they watch the video. So one person could watch the video, like imagine you feel betrayed by somebody, or you feel you can't be heard, or you feel angry, or whatever type of difficult emotion you're going through. By the way, also in music, that's one of the same phenomena. feelings, like difficult emotions, a lot of people can relate to it. So well, if you create a song which is sad, which is talking about difficult things, a lot of people will relate to it, no matter the context of the situation. So I would say everybody feels emotions. It's, I wouldn't say universal, I don't like the word universal, but we can create one song or one reel and it will gather a lot of validation. Not because what is being said is actually telling you the truth of your situation, but because it resonates with your emotional state at this moment. And it's not to say that this is all bad, but we have to know that we can't use these things to understand what we are going through. It's like a cigarette, you see? Like, it's like something that can make you feel a bit better in the moment, but it's not gonna give you the reason why you're smoking cigarette. It's not gonna give you the answer, the truth of what you're going through, what the other one is feeling, and what you're feeling, and what is all going on. In order to do that, it's better to follow the method. I wouldn't say it's better, but I mean, I find it better to follow the method that has been shown in traditions who have a long history of expertise with how to heal the mind. And one of the first things is to understand that isolation can be a tool, but it's not an end in itself. We can't heal by ourselves. It doesn't mean that isolation or doing things by ourselves is all bad and that it's not going to bring you some things. It can be, but it's just a step in the whole process of being willing to surrender to a mirror. And in philosophy, for example, it could be a teacher, somebody who's going to teach you, who's going to look. And in Zen, it could be your Zen master. But I feel that in our society, we fear about this. We fear about this because we fear that we give the authority to ourselves, like since it get back to the history of the separation of the state with the religion and the fear of falling into a sect. So we fear surrendering to somebody else or some other structure, or like what we perceive as an authority. We fear that, and even myself, I'm a really anarchist. So, but even in anarchy, we recognize that expertise. We recognize expertise, and not in a sense that somebody will be higher than you, but just in the sense that if somebody else has spent more time in the field than you can learn from them. But we have difficulty in this society to process this because we used to the hierarchy. We used to think that we need to bend down to somebody who knows more. We used to think that there's a teacher and a student, not even realizing that the teacher learned from the student and the student learned from the teacher. But it doesn't mean that, you see, all of his talk is to talk about this central thing. In Zen, they talk about Inshin Denshin. Inshin Denshin means transmission from soul to soul. So we see again this mirror. And not to say I don't know everything, but certainly if you know some tradition in Zen or in philosophy, Western philosophy, who advocate that we don't need anybody, we can just do everything by ourselves. For sure, there is some individuals who will put more emphasis on that. In anarchy, you have individualist anarchy. All of this is valid for me, but once again, at least for me, my opinion on that is that isolation and doing things by ourselves is just part of our path. But as humans, we are social creatures. And he implies also, in my opinion, that this is how we also get to heal our mind. So once we see the sociological reason of this therapy online, of this tweets that make us feel that we get it all about ourselves and about other people, if we could see that as a sign of a society who really isolate people so much that we have to interact with a video, we can't even, I wouldn't even say the word interaction, because interaction is a two-way street. It's you talking, it's even in one of the oldest, what we say, the meiotic, or we describe it in Greek philosophy with Socrates, like the basic thing is actually the books of Plato, Socrates. The first books were just discussions between two persons. When one person explained their point of view, the other person listened. When they're done, the other person do it themselves too. That is meiotic. The reels, the social media thing, the tweets, it's not that. Even this very video here is now meiotic. It's just me laying something out because, like, all of these people are probably in reels, face a structural way of how society is set. Right now, people look at the videos because during the day they have to work, then they have to get back to home, or they have to go to sport after to just decompress, and all of this makes it that this type of discussion or this type of interaction or this type, I wouldn't even do both. We don't even have discussion or interaction right now because it's just me talking. but let's say a simulacrum of connection. Let's say it's a form of connection. This requires time and energy and space that this society, from an anarchist point of view, is making it a bit difficult for us to take, if, for example, if we want to live like everybody is living. Because all of this talk is not to say that everything is bad. There is ways, there is communities, there is people who do things differently. But in order to access this, we need to do things differently too. We need to let go of a lot of ideas that have been put in our mind in this society. So look at reels if you want to feel better, but just remember it's similar than smoking a cigarette. Ethic, we can see it in a lot of forms. Philosophical discussion is a discussion. Semiotic is going to transform you. In a Zen community, in my experience, there's also something, depends the tradition, but the tradition I'm in, sometimes we need to meditate and you need to go into the dojo, and sometimes you're tired, you don't want to go, you just want to practice at home. But later on you realize that going to the dojo is part of practice. Why? Because it forces you to be in interaction with other people. It forces you to show your practice to other people and to have it reflect back to you. To not go into a tunnel when you think you know it all. When you think that you know it all about yourself and about people. This is what the mind, this is all the mind. Mind, when left by itself for too long, especially if we have a little awareness about a lot of its corners, dark corners, the mind will automatically filter all the world toward its own opinions, its own tendencies, its own woes. Yes, we can see in certain spiritual tradition or even therapy tradition, we can tell you, let's be you have to be alone. There are certain things you can't just be alone. Yes, but once again, it's part of the process. It's not the process itself. When being left alone for too long, the mind is also wicked. Everything that I say is just a mixture of what the ancient already told us 2,000 years ago. The first philosophies, the oldest, not just Western Socrates and Plato, but I can see also in 2,000 years old Zen Soto. The mind left alone, the mind itself is uncontrollable. It's uncontrollable in a way. When the stories, all of these reels, because they are out of context, because they don't know you, You don't know your life. You don't know the people you're related to, what you're going through. This gap, when you look at the real and you link it to your situation, the link you're doing is actually can't be the reality of the situation, because this person who's talking is talking, you're just one of the thousands of person who's looking at the video. So the link you're doing, you got hooked by the video because you feel probably like whatever similar emotion all the other people feel when they look this video and what this person is looking. But you know, it's like in a concert. When people go to see a concert, they can all feel a similar emotion. When there is a song, we can feel joy, happiness, sadness. We can all feel a different thing, but it doesn't mean that when your mind, you see, is looking at the real, the whatever, and linking it to a situation and saying, oh, this is what I'm going through. So this link is the mind who is doing it. Why? Because the real that you're looking at is totally out of context from your situation. Literally, the only link which is having between this video and your situation is emotion, your emotional state. You feel joyful, so you feel like this video is linking to your situation, or you feel happy, or you feel anger, or whatever. It's not to say that emotions are pointless or whatever. Emotions is a part of truth. However, it's not the only part of truth. It's part of truth of what is going on, but it's not reduced. It cannot be reduced to that. So this is what I wanted to say about the reels and stuff, because often people send me, or I just see them also, like everybody has access to this, and often we remember this word, free advice of somebody who is free. Nobody is free. When it's free, it's because you are the product. And influencers, they create videos to have views. Not to say that everything that they say, like sometimes it can be helpful, it can make you feel good in a moment, a bit less hurt, but what it is commonly advised with this that I saw by also experts from the field is to, at least if we watch these videos, to not replace this with a proper professional intervention on for your pain. Is what commonly I've read from experts on the field of mental health who talk about reels and tweet and all of this phenomena of therapy online. That is, I wouldn't say even therapy, but all of this content, therapy related influencers. Just let's not believe that this can replace an actual mirror, which is actually the heart of what the oldest expertise on the mind, Socrates, Plato, or even back to the Egyptian, were knowing about the mind. So here you go right now, and see you for another time.